Okay, recording. 3, 2, 1, clap. Okay. Gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. I legit have like 39 minutes before a timer goes off to for me to turn chicken over because I'm unintentionally cooking dinner tonight. So that's fun. My rant is limited. We love a limited rant, right? Anyway, hi guys, welcome back to whatever this is. Whether it's a video, an episode, I don't know. I just was like, I need to talk. I need to rant. I need to chat. I need something. I just need to talk. And I will. Okay, so look at. You see this big pom pom that I'm holding? I'm holding like a recorder because I was going to hold my microphone. Because if you have seen my content before, you would know that like way back when I was doing my podcast regularly ish, I had a microphone, and I still have it. It's literally right in front of me. I had a microphone that I would use for my podcast, and then whenever I had like YouTube videos that I wanted to like do video essays, I didn't want to use the microphone. I had a microphone, I would use it. So I was trying to set that up because I wanted to use a microphone. Like I haven't used it in a while, I haven't podcasted in a while. I wanted to like bring it back, and I could not find a single wire to get it to work. And then the one wire where it would work, it kept um short circuiting. So like it would show on my phone to like record the audio on like, oh, external mic has been plugged in, and then I would hear myself, it would cut off, and then it would like go back in, and then it would show external mic has been plugged in. So I'm like, okay, this is short circuiting. I don't want to start filming a video, and then it cuts in and out, and then I had to go back and forth between my camera audio and the audio on my phone from my microphone. So I was just like, let me just look for a different cord. Try like look, I was looking for like a good like 10-15 minutes, and I was like, there's no way that I have all these wires and none of them work. Is my microphone broken? Do I have to buy a new microphone? Oh my gosh, I haven't had this microphone for that long. Well, I've had it for a few years, but I didn't have it that long. Do I have to buy a new microphone? Oh my goodness, I have to buy a new microphone. Oh my goodness, what if the wire's broken? Then I have to buy a new wire. Oh, but then how am I gonna find the wire that fits the microphone properly? Like this is what was going on in my head as I was looking for the wire to fit the microphone. And I was like, oh man, I'm really sad about the microphone going away because I've had this microphone for a few years, but like it's my first microphone that I bought for a podcast. Like maybe I'm more mad because I'm sentimental about it and I don't want to let it go. And then I came to the conclusion that it was just the wire that I was using because not all the wires that I have that can fit in the microphone are compatible with the microphone. So the one wire that was compatible with the microphone was short circuiting because it was short circuiting for charging my phone. So I already knew that wire had an issue. So this is the one wire that fits in my microphone. So I was like, oh, maybe I could use it for that. But it was short circuiting for that too. And I used this wire to transfer footage or like footage and clips from my phone to my laptop when I'm editing. But like if that's the only reason why I'm using it and not for anything else, I could just throw it out because I have other wires I can use to transfer footage and audio from, so I don't need to really keep it. So I need to buy a new wire for a microphone in conclusion, and then I have this other microphone that I could use that I have no idea how to configure because it's too far. I have this other microphone that I have, and I'm like, I can use it, I just don't know how to use it. And then I was like, oh, I have this like recorder thing that like I was using for the microphone as well, because the whole reason why I have this and like another microphone is because I was working on like a short film last year which got halted because there was just too many complications. But I'm like trying to like revive it this year to like do it and finish it because I want to have it done. So that's what I bought. That's why I have this and the microphone, because I was buying equipment for the short film that I was doing. And I was like having issues with it when I was trying to do the short film. I was having issues with it on set. Like they were holding the boom mic and the audio was not going through on the recorder. Like without the microphone plugged in, you can hear audio. This recorder was perfectly fine. But then when I was connecting it to the recorder, it wasn't. I couldn't hear anything, and you can hear it, but it was so faint and little, and I didn't have time to like try to figure out. Maybe I just bought the wrong cable, like whatever. So the microphone, I have a microphone that I just don't know how to use. At some point, I will figure it out, but I just not right now. And I was like, of course, every time when I want to film a video, and especially sometimes when it's a video where I'm like, I really need to kind of just rant about things, that like nothing's working. All my technology all of a sudden doesn't work. Or like I want to try new technology, but I wait until I need to use it for a video to then try to figure out how to work a technology I've never worked before. And then by the time I get it to work, my film time is up. And then I can't film my video. I'm mad about the video not being filmed, and I spiral about that. And I'm just like, if you're tired, exhausted from just hearing me say that, imagine how I feel when I'm having to think and live that moment. Like, I'm just telling you, like, the ballpark of it, but like living the moment, it was like a good 10 to 20 minutes of me just like spiraling about a microphone possibly being broken, having to buy a new wire, but then having it hard to find the wire that fits the microphone properly, being sentimental about my first equipment that I bought for my like podcast being broken, having to replace it, me getting sentimental about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the first microphone I bought. It's actually really sad that I had to get rid of it. I actually really like it. And like I didn't realize I was sentimental about it until like I was thinking about getting rid of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really gonna have to get rid of this microphone. That's so sad, it's not. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm literally trying to make a video talking about like my career, and here I am about to cry about a microphone. Hello. Anyway, so I've never actually used this recorder for anything besides the film. So I was like, well, I have this because the whole purpose of why I wanted to use a microphone, because I wanted to have a mic. And I was also like, when I was doing the microphone debacle, I was like, I could just not use a mic. I could just use my camera and be fine. But I'm like, no, I want a microphone. I want something to hold while I'm talking. So then that's what's like, wait, I have this, but this pom pom is so big that like it's literally covering my mouth when I put it to my mouth. So I'm doing this, but it's just like it's just so big and ridiculous. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? And you know what's even worse? As I'm speaking, as I'm talking right now, my wrists are hurting. And for those who don't know, I have a wrist condition that like when my wrist starts to hurt, if I don't put wrist braces on within the next like week or two, it'll get into excruciating pain to where it'll hurt on my wrist. And then if it gets longer, it trickles down to my ankles, then my knees, then my legs. It's when it rains, it pours. When it rains, it pours. Anyway, that was the debacle that I was getting into, just trying to set up to do this video. So, anyway, now that I finished ranting about me setting up, let me actually talk about what this video is. What this video is supposed to be about. I'm getting used to pom pom. I kind of like the pom pom. I would rather have the microphone though, but the pom pom is kind of nice. And I'm like, I bought it. I might as well use it, you know. And I feel like I'm gonna get good audio. So anyway, so today's debacle, I wanted to talk about my like things that have been on my mind honestly this entire year, and the main thing has been like my career and like my life and where my life is heading. But I also want to talk about like other small things because also prime example, I said in the beginning of this, I don't know if it's gonna be a podcast episode or if it's gonna be I don't know what that was, but okay. Or like a YouTube video. But I know I'm going to be chatting for a long time, so this should be a podcast episode. So let's talk about my podcast. For those of you that don't, if you haven't watched my videos and this is your first time watching my content, I make YouTube videos, I make podcast episodes, but I had a podcast called Random Chats with Anna. At first, it was called Discount Therapy with Ananda because I was like, I need therapy. I don't have money for therapy, so let me do my own therapy by making a podcast. Great idea, right? College student that's depressed and she wants to make a podcast because she wants to talk about her feelings. Whoa, big idea. So I had that. That was my first podcast talking about it. Then I decided to change the title from Discount Therapy with Ananda to then Random Chats with Ananda. And then I would go from Ananda to then shortening it to Anna. And then every now and then I would go back and forth between Anna and Ananda. I was indecisive to say the least. And so I would basically have this periods where I would be consistent with the podcast. I would have ideas and then I would make the videos. I would post them. And then randomly, I'm like, let me just do a new season. I want a fresh start. So a fresh start would be a new season. So I can have like 6 episodes in season 1 and I'll just start season 2 because I want a fresh start. I want to do something new with my podcast. I want different topics, different ideas. So then I'll do a second season. I'll do like maybe like 4, 5, or maybe 7 episodes in season 2, and I'm like, I want a new start. I want to rebrand. I want to refresh, and then I'll do season 3. and I'll do 2 episodes in season 3. I think I got up to like 4 seasons doing this same pattern of like I have a few episodes going on, and then I get consistent, I get inconsistent, and then I'll take a break. And then when I come back, I'm like, oh, I want to do my podcast. I have so much to talk about, blah, blah, blah. Let me do a new season. So then I did that like 3 times. And now I have like, I think 4 seasons, I think, for my podcast. And then a few months ago, I was like, what if I just wipe the whole thing clean? Delete all the podcast episodes and just rebrand, refresh, like new name, new podcast cover, new flow of how I want the episodes to go, like with topics. Like it'll be actually organized and it'd be me like chatting. So then last month I was planning this out. I was like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk about this first, do a mini series where each mini series is like 4 to 5 episodes, and I'm gonna have actual seasons. Like one season's gonna be like 20 episodes. It's gonna be, we're not gonna do Netflix and Hulu where they do 10 episodes a season. We're gonna actually do a 20 episode season where it's gonna be different series, like mini series with like 5 episodes. Like I think I had like 2 mini series ideas for the first season, and then like random episodes in between to like space it out, because the topics that I had were like topics that like were like important to me but also like low-key kind of like deep in a way. So I'm like, I want to like do breaks where it's just like have a little lighthearted podcast episode every now and then. So I was brainstorming it, getting the idea going, had it, and I had it planned out. Boom. So then I was like, okay, I was thinking of an idea, and I think the title of the podcast I wanted to do was Working Title, because I feel like that's really fitting, because it's like I'm also a writer. So like I write films, I write films and movies. I write films, I write books, and you always have a working title. Like with the first draft, you just have a title, and it could be subject to change. And I feel like working title kind of like makes a lot of sense, because I'm constantly changing what I'm doing with my life and like myself, like reinventing new things, like discovering myself, and then also just like having new revelations about like life and what I'm meant to do and this and that and the third. And I'm always changing like my content, like the type of content I'm making, and I just keep changing things up. I'm constantly changing my mind. I'm constantly revamping. I'm like, I get consistent. I like do something, do something, do something. Then I fall off, get inconsistent, and then I go off the face of the earth for like 3 months. Because then also life is happening at the same time. Life happens. I come back. Same cycle happening over and over and over and over again. And to be completely honest, this is literally just because of me having ADHD. So like that's not my fault. But it was something that I noticed that when I was doing my podcast, that like that's what kept happening. So I feel like me revamping the podcast and having it be called Working Title just makes the most sense, because that's literally my entire life is a working title. I'm constantly like having my life like doing things and it being subject to change. I can also title this subject to change. Like, you know what I mean? Who knows? I kind of like working title better because it kind of aligns also with me being a writer. So I feel like working title does like help. Or I can do working title colon, like the parentheses subject to change. I could do both. I don't know. You'll see when this episode gets up. But as you can see, my mind is a mess and a whirlpool of just chaos, but also creativity and ideas. And I just like I need to let it out. And this gets into the topic of today's video, talking about like my career. And for those of you that don't know who I am, hi, my name is Nanda Cash. I'm 25 years old, and I currently have a job working as a teaching assistant at a private school for kids with special needs. And I've been doing this job for like a year now, and I ah, I can do I do have like I plan to do separate like episodes specifically talking about being a teacher, and like being a teacher working with autistic, well, also just special needs children, because it's like they have like autism, ADHD, like it's like it's not just, it's mostly autistic, but it's also like other diagnoses as well. But like just my job and like the field that I got into, and how I like, obviously I know like, neurodivergent kids, well, I didn't even know neurodivergent was really a word. I had no idea about autistic kids really, except the fact that autism is a thing. I knew autism was a thing. I didn't really know ADHD. I knew more ADD because that's what they said it was, and I think they renamed it to ADHD. I don't know. I'm still learning myself. But I didn't really know much about neurodivergency until I started to work in a field where that's your main thing, because you're working with kids that are neurodivergent. That is when I started to learn about neurodivergency, and it's fitting that I started to work at this job literally 4 months after I got diagnosed with ADHD, which is a whole other thing. Like, I have a mini series about talking about ADHD and how I processed it and all this stuff, blah, blah. So, working a job with neurodivergent kids, being a neurodivergent adult, that's a whole whirlwind. And, I do like the fact that my job is impactful and helping children like me be able to get the help that they need. I do like that. And I've been like working at a job for like a little over a year now, and I've been in limbo with it because it's like I don't know whether to say. I didn't want to ever say I hate my job in case for some reason my job watches this video and they see that I say I hate my job, and then here I am trying to elevate in my job, and they're like, "Well, you hate your job, so why should you elevate?" So I never wanted to say that. But then it's also like my first response when I think about my job is, I hate my job. I don't like my job, blah, blah, blah. But then it's just like when I'm at my job, I don't hate it. Like, I like it. I like I like that my job is helping people. My job is to help people get the support they can't get anywhere else, really. I like that it's impactful in a positive manner. I like that we're advocating for people who are different than others to be treated the same as everyone else. I like the morals of my job. So I came to the conclusion, like recently, like right before I started filming this video, that I do like my job. I do like my job because my job is very, very hard. It's draining, emotionally and mentally extremely draining, which, side note, when people say mentally and emotionally, I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand what the difference between emotionally and mentally. I'm like, aren't they the same thing? I don't know. Just want to throw that in there. But my job is mentally draining. It is so draining when when stuff hits the fan and I'm splattered all over the wall. And it's just I need like a week vacation when I'm having a bad day at work. Like, my job, as much as I do like the job, a lot of things happen that are so multi-layered for me, for my personal life, but then also the job itself, because the job itself, when you don't have the life that I have, is hard. And then to have the life that I have and then to work this job, that's just extra layers of problems. So when I get tired and when I get burned down from my job, it's because of like several different reasons. It's not just because the job is hard, so I'm tired. It's like the job is hard, I'm tired, but then this is happening, that's happening, that's happening. Just like the problem with the freaking microphone earlier. How like I was trying to find a wire and I was thinking about how I'm either gonna have to get a new wire, get a new microphone. I was sad about getting a new microphone. I was mad that I had to get a new microphone. I was bummed about the wire. Like I just was just trying to set up to film my video, and here I am having the microphone layer 12 different problems, and all it is just me trying to figure out how to get the microphone to work. That's how my life works. That's how my brain functions, and that's how my life is on a constant basis. So to have that type of lifestyle in general, and then to have this job where every problem that you have is always multi-layered, it's just a lot. It gets a lot. And when the job gets hard, I am like, why am I here? I'm like, oh, this job is like, sometimes, like, often it does get to me because I'm like, I remember at a time last year when I was first working this job, I was like 8 months in, and I was just in a situation where it was just so bad. I debated quitting. Like, I genuinely was like, I'm gonna quit. I can't do this anymore. What's happening is actually ridiculous, and I don't even understand why this is happening. And I decided to be like, you know what? I'm gonna like stay. Like, legit, the way how I was so ready to leave, like I was like, I also had another friend who was also a teacher at the time. And whenever we would hang out with each other after work, we would like talk about like, I'll tell her stories about my job, she'd tell me about her job. We would just be like, debriefing, like, that was our self-care, like being able to talk to someone that was also in the same field, because we also got our teaching jobs around the same time. Like, she got her teaching job first, and then I got my job like a few months after. So we were both like teaching in like different areas, because she was like she was a teaching assistant as well. Then she became a lead teacher, and then I was just a teaching assistant. But we both were at the private schools. We both were close to each other. So we'd meet up and then just like talk about like how hard our job is being a teacher, whatever. So the job that she was at, I was like telling her about how like, I think I'm done. I can't do this job anymore. And I was considering just working at a different place. I legit sent my resume. I had an interview date set up. I was like so ready to like leave. And then I decided to, because I think something happened with the interview where it was like the person didn't follow up, or like I emailed them asking and they didn't respond back. So like I think the date and the time was given to me, but it wasn't confirmed officially. And then something told me to be like, let me just back up and just what's happening to me, what's happening right now in this situation, it sucks and it's awful and it's not good. But let me give this job one more year. And if I really don't like it after that, I'll leave. So that's what I did. I decided to stay. And I'm glad I did, because my friend that was working at the job I was going to apply to, she ended up quitting there because there was a lot of stuff going on at her job. And she was like, I can't do this. I need to quit. So she quit. She got a different job. She's happy now. So I say all that to say that like my job is a lot. And I feel like sometimes I don't know if it's worth it for me to stay when I like the job, but I don't love my job. And the reason why the first year that I started working my job, it was bothering me that like I was working a 9 to 5 job and a career that I had no intention on being in at all, unless it was like, because I went to school, I got my bachelor's degree in English with a concentration in creative writing and a minor in film and video studies. Then I got my master's degree in creative writing with a concentration in screenwriting. So basically, I went to school to be a writer, to write movies and to write books, and then to be in the film industry, filming, making, being a part of the filming, the films that I make, and also other people's films too. Like if it, people want to. I really liked the job of script supervisor. That was like whenever I was in school and I would be on like the school projects, I would be the script supervisor of my film crew. So I really like that position. So I would like, if someone else wanted me to be a script supervisor, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, I would love to like do that. So like I wanted to work in the film industry and be a published author. That was my goal. My goal was writing. And then also I stumbled upon YouTube and like making YouTube videos and making podcasts and like, talking about movies and books. And I'm just like, I like love like creativity and art in the form of writing and filmmaking. That's what I want to do with my life. And here I am being a teacher. And the first year, the first, I would say, 6 months of me working my job, that was a constant thing in my head about, I went to school from the age of 5 to 23. From 5 to 18, I worked hard to get A's and to be able to get into a good college and to be able to afford to go into a good college. Then I spent 8 years in undergrad no, 6 years. I went to school for my grad was only 2 years. I went to undergrad for 4 years. I went to graduate school for 2 years to become a writer. I was in school from 5 to 23 to work on being a writer. I've been wanting to be a writer since I was 8 years old. Because when I was in third grade, and I used to write a lot because I would write how I thought. So my thoughts were constantly going. So I would write so much because my mind, I was writing what I was thinking. And I write how I think, which is chaotic and sometimes misgrammared and all that stuff. But I wrote so much and I enjoyed it. I liked it. And I remember my third grade teacher being like, oh, you write a lot. And it wasn't like her insulting me. She was just making an observation like, oh, I know that you like to write a lot. And then I was like, oh, since I write so much, I might as well be a writer. And that it just clicked in me like, oh yeah, I should be a writer. That makes sense. And I've never let that go. And as I got older, I like fell in love with storytelling and realized writing is something I've wanted to do. I want to do with my life. And I went to school for it. Like, I went to school for it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like I can't wait until like when I graduate, I'm gonna become a writer and I'm going to like make it in the industry and be one of those people that can be inspiring to other like little black girls and other POC girls, being like, oh look, if she could do it, I can do it too, and like just being happy. And then like to finally finish grad school and then to just get a job being a teacher, I was like, So that was like kind of bothering me a bit. And it's like, oh, you can be a teacher and then write on your free time. I don't have free time. If I have free time, I force it because I'm mentally drained. I don't have the energy to do literally anything. So I'm forcing myself to relax. And I will be sitting on my bed, scrolling on my phone and watching YouTube. But in my head, I'm thinking about the 12 things I have to do and I'm not doing them because I don't have the energy to do them and why I should be doing them, but why I can't do them and why I deserve a break. But then am going to be falling behind because I'm taking this break. So I am not actually ever resting. I may look like I'm resting, but 9 times out of 10, my brain is on 10 and I'm wired. I'm thinking about everything I need to do, how much sports I need to do, how much time I don't have. And then just like, so like I'm looking like I'm doing nothing, but like my mind is working and it's not shutting off. So I never actually have downtime. And then I genuinely also at the same time, because on top of me having a 9 to 5 job, I am a business secretary. I am also a teaching assistant for the children ministry at my church. And on top of that, I live with my family. So that also acquires another bulk of stuff to do. So I have a packed schedule. I'm 25 years old with essentially a full-time 9 to 5 job working as a teaching assistant. I'm a business secretary. I'm another teaching assistant somewhere else. And on top of that, I want to do YouTube, a podcast, writing. So I have like that's 6 jobs that I'm trying to do all at once in the span of 24 hours a day. On top of that, I have ADHD. Like I can't stress that enough. That like so like I don't really have time to write because when I come home, I have to do this, that, and the third. So it's like I have like 3 things to do, and if I don't do them, then oh, you didn't do this. You're supposed to be doing that. Oh, I'm tired. I need to like rest for a little bit. Oh, but that's not gonna take that long to do. Just do it, and you'll be able to be fine. It's not blah blah. And it's just like I'm tired. I need to rest, but I can't rest because I got things to do. So then I do the things that I gotta do, and I'm even more exhausted than before. But I got it done. Everyone's happy except me because I'm exhausted, more exhausted than I was before. And then I gotta sleep, wake up to do it again the next day. And I don't have time to write. I don't have time to read. I don't have time to make videos or edit or do anything creative that actually brings me joy. And I'm just frustrated. And for the first 6 months of me working last year, I was just like, I told myself I never wanted to get a job working a 9 to 5 that I don't really love. I wanted to make sure that when I start working a full time job, I want it to be a job that I love. And I don't love teaching. I just got the job because I have experience working with kids. I like working with kids. I don't love it though. And that's always been the problem that like I feel like I should be doing a job if I'm doing it 9 to 5, 5 days a week. It should be something that I have a passion for. I don't I have I do have a passion for kids, but it's not the same as my passion for writing. It's different. Like I'm able to get through my days working at my job because I do like my class. I do love the kids that I work with, and I like most of my coworkers. I get along with them very well, and like that gets me through. The kids are adorable. My coworkers are like I get along with most of them, and like we chit chat, we kiki, we have fun, and then I have friends at my job. Like I have pros to my job, but the con, like even if it's just one, the one con is that it's not what I love. I love writing, I love film, I love novels, and I'm not using that. I'm not able to really put that into my job that I'm at all the time. I'm there from 9 to it's not actually 9 to 5. It's 8 to 4. It's 8 to 3. No. 8 hold on. 8 to 3:30 or 8 to 4:30. So it's an 8 to 4 basically. But it's essentially a 9 to 5 job that I go to 5 days a week. So I'm there 5 days a week, and then I have one day of rest because I have one day where I can do nothing. Saturdays, but then I have to do laundry. I have to clean up my room. Sometimes I have to clean up the apartment. And then Sunday I go to church and then come home to have a few hours of rest and do family Bible study and then to get ready for work the next day. So realistically, I only have one day really to relax. And then every day I get home, I'm tired because the day was either a good day, but it was exhausting because a lot happened, or it was a bad day. When I had a bad day, I'll have a bad week because then it's like it happened one day, then it keeps happening again and again and again and again. And I have a whole bad week. Like literally 2 weeks ago, I was trying to film a realistic week in my life and I had a crash out on Wednesday. And then literally that Saturday, I had a whole mental breakdown about something because it was a work-related issue, and I was really pissed off that I had to deal with the situation because like, whatever. So like, when I have a bad day, it's usually a bad week because when we're having issues, we're having issues. So like when times like that happen, and I'm just like, I would really love to just be able to have time to just like do what I actually like to do what I love to do. And I don't because I am too busy doing things I'm supposed to do. Like I'm supposed to have a 9 to 5 job to be able to save up and pay rent, which I don't pay rent because I live with my family. And also, there's no rush for me to move out because they don't want me to leave. Like my mother, I remember when I was 19, she told me I had until I'm 30 to move out. Not like to kick me out, but like more just being like, oh, hey, like, by the age of 30, you should be able to be moved out. And I'm like, okay, sure, fine, whatever. Not anymore. And I mentioned this like 2, 3 times to her, and she's like, yeah, I changed my mind. So what about it? And I'm like, that's fine. That's fine that like you love me enough to where you don't want me to leave. But I'm like, why am I having a 9 to 5 job to pay what rent? The reason why creative people get a 9 to 5 is so that way they can pay their bills. Yes, I have student loans and a credit card and other bills like subscriptions that I do have to pay for, but it's just like the meat and the potatoes of getting a 9 to 5 is to pay for rent, and I don't pay for rent. So why would I get a 9 to 5 if I don't pay rent? To move out and then pay rent? Oh, but then I'm moving out with a job that I don't love. So now I'm depending on that job that I don't love to pay for rent. So that means I have even less time to like work on my craft and my career. My career is writing. I want to work on my career to write, but I can't work on my career because I'm too busy working on my job, then coming home and doing other responsibilities. And I have no time for my actual career. And I told myself that I didn't want to get a 9 to 5 and something I didn't love and then depend on it for rent. Because then I'm stuck. Because then I have to work a job I don't like or that I like sometimes, but I have to go to work because I had to pay rent. And I never wanted to do that. And last year when I got this job, I did apply for it. I did actually want to get it. And when I got it, I was happy. But then when I started to work there, I realized I am living a life that I told myself I never wanted to live. And in hindsight, that isn't fully true. But at the time, that's what I thought. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was legit struggling with that idea for like 6 months. And then on top of that, stuff at my job was happening. I'm not gonna get into that, but there was just when I tell you it was like like an avalanche. It was like a little trickle. One little thing happened, then nothing, then nothing, then nothing, then nothing, then nothing. Boom, avalanche, and I'm like, oh, so we're suffering. Oh, okay, got it. So yeah, so that was the first 6 months of me working at my job last year, and I was like, wow, I'm really bummed that like I'm working another 5 and a job that I don't absolutely love. I don't love this job. I like it. I like what I do. I like the fact that like it's helped me learn about autism and ADHD and being neurodivergent, and like I do like that. I like that. There's like things that I did like about the job, and I was like I was making friends. I was getting to know people. I was stepping outside my comfort zone, learning how to socialize in a way, and like other things were happening too. And I was just like, okay, I like these things, but I'm not in love with this because this is not my intention. This was not what I planned to do. My entire life I was like I'm going to be a writer, and here I am being a teacher. And then at one point I did say I wanted to be a teacher, and my thing was I would be a teacher if I was teaching writing. Like I could be a professor and teach creative writing. And in order to do that, I need an MFA. And at the time, I was like, I can't go back to school because I finished grad school with good grades. I got like A's and B's, but like there was a semester that I literally was like failing a class for like 6 weeks, and I was like, if I fail this class, I'm dropping out. I'm not kidding, because it was a linguistics class. I would never forget. And also this semester was it was a hard semester academically because of me failing this class for 6 weeks, because I missed I didn't do one assignment, and I went from having I think like a B to an F for 6 weeks over one assignment that was 50 points. Mind you, we get a grade that like our points total up to 1,000 points, and that determines our grade. But that assignment was worth 50 points, 50 out of 1,000, and I had an F because I had like 54 out of like 118 or something like that, and it was F. And then even when I was doing other assignments and getting A's and B's, I still had an F. And I was like, yo. And then I went from an F to like a C, and I'm like, you need a minimum of like a C plus to get credit for the class. Because I'm like, if I don't get credit for this class, I'm gonna have to repeat the class, and there's no way I'm doing this class a second time. I was like, God, you had to make me pass, because if I don't pass this class, I'm dropping out. I do not have the mental stamina to do this a second time. I genuinely do not. I don't care if I don't get my degree. Maybe I'll come back a year or two later, but I will drop out this instant. Please, God, let me pass. And I passed with like, I think a B or something. I was like, thank God. That was the hardest class I've ever taken in my entire, like, and that was also a hard semester for me outside of like school. Like mentally, that was a very challenging, like that was a challenging few months because I was not okay. I was very much I was down bad. Like literally I was not okay. I was very very okay. Yeah. But yeah. So, I was already down bad because that was also like my first semester. No, that's the thing, my second semester because like our semesters were like 10 weeks because also did my grad school online. But it was my first year after undergrad. So I was home and I was grieving like undergrad. Like I missed being at New Paltz. I missed being with my friends and I was grieving it so bad. Like I didn't realize how much I missed school until I was like at home, and it was really bad. Like I was legit grieving college. Like I knew when I was in high school that when I had to graduate college, I'm gonna be so sad. But I'm like, I don't have to think about that right now. I'm just turning 18. I'm about to go to college soon. I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna have fun. I'm so excited for college. I was excited for college since sophomore year of high school. Like I was ready to go to college. I was so happy, and college was legit the best 4 years of my life. I say that because high school was like the worst 4 years of my life, and then college was a complete 180, and it ended up being the best 4 years of my life because I learned so much about myself. And like I feel sad when people say college wasn't fun for them because I just feel bad because I'm like, college, like the stereotypical college experience that you're supposed to have, like going away and meeting new people and doing all this stuff. I had that. And it was actually beneficial for me. Like I really enjoyed my time in college, and I met one of my best friends at college. Like I am so grateful for college because college helped me discover a lot about myself, and I met good people. I met with my best friends, and like I'm forever grateful for my best friend that I met at college because like I love her down bad. Like I love her down bad. Like she's one of my three best friends, and I love her so much. Like she was the person that made me realize that you can like actually say you love your friends platonically, like have platonic love for your friends. I didn't realize that was a thing. And no shade to my high school best friend because I know if she's watching, she might be getting salty about it. Listen, girl, I was a different person in high school, so like I didn't know I could love you. Listen, I was a little mean in high school. I was going through things. I still was in college, but like high school me was like tumbling, tumbling. Shorty was, it was giving them tumble girls that were just like you might have to call nurse, come get her. Yeah, I'm saying that as a joke, but I'm being so serious. Anyway, so I didn't know I could love friends until like after college, and then I realized, oh my god, I could love my friends, and like I tell my friends I love them. Like I have so much love for my friends. Whatever, not gonna go down the path. The point is, college was a great experience, and then to leave it, to then go back because I was I'm not gonna go into that, but I left college. I was very sad, and I was grieving it for a whole like for the first year after college. I was grieving it so bad. It took me a year to process that I was leaving college, and I think that's also because transitions are hard for neurodivergent people, and like the transition from college back to home was so hard. It was hard for me to like let go. So I mourned it badly for a year. Like my mourning for college was so bad, I made a novel about my college experience. Like I decided to write a novel about my 4 years in college to basically reminisce on my college life and also to have a story out of it. But I was really depressed about leaving school. Like genuinely, I was so sad. I was like, oh my gosh, like my happiness is gone. Which isn't true. Which isn't true. Like I genuinely thought that I would never be happy like that again. I had so much joy in college, and I thought I would never experience it again. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna have joy again in my life, and that's not true. God showed me that that's not true. So whatever. But like, it took me a year. Um, I'm going down a tangent. I don't know why. I was saying that to basically say that's why. So like grieving college and then to be in a semester, like mind you, I'm grieving college but also still a full time grad student online. To then be a full time grad student online, I'm grieving college or being a full time grad student, an unemployed full time grad student grieving college. I was unemployed after college. I was unemployed for 18 months because I was trying to find jobs in my field that I actually wanted to do, and I couldn't find anything that I actually liked. So it was hard. The job market, it also is hard. The job market is very difficult. Like it's like really bad. And the pressures of job hunting is a whole other thing. So I was a grad student, grieving college, unemployed, struggling, and then like being pressed to find a job when I'm doing the best I can. And I'm trying to like be creative and like work on like YouTube and then work on my writing from my class projects, and it was just a hard year. But anyway, I have like 46 seconds for this chicken, so I'm gonna pause this video and then come back after I like turned it and put a new timer. So I will be back in a second because I got more to chat about. Okay, so the angle might be a little bit different because I did have to like reset it. But yeah, turned over the chicken. So now we got like another 30 minutes before. Hopefully, I'll be finished with this episode in 30 minutes. So, um, I was talking about something. I don't know what I was talking about. I was gone for like 2 minutes max, and I already forgot what I was talking about. Um, I think I was talking about whatever. I think I was talking about like basically how no, I'm blanking. Like I know this topic is about my career, but I'm just like I'm blanking on like what I talked about last. So we'll just move on because I'm gonna like pop a vessel if I continue thinking about it. So yeah, so I've come to the realization last year, the first 6 months of me working my job, I was realizing that I was living a life I told myself I would never live, and that really bummed me out for like 6 months. Like I was like it kept popping up in my head, like, oh my goodness, I'm really living a life that I told myself I never want to do that. And in reality, the thing is that I said that I didn't want to live a life where I'm working a 9 to 5 job depending on this job for rent. And I'm not, because again, I am living at home. Um, I feel like sometimes it's like, my parents aren't that bad, so I'm okay with living with them, which is why I don't push to move out. But then sometimes I'm just like, I really want to be able to be on my own and like have my own place, like either with a roommate or by myself. And then with that, like the whole moving out thing is like, do I really want a roommate or do I want to live on my own? But then sometimes I'm like, sometimes I need to be living with someone because sometimes I need someone to watch me. So I'm like, maybe I need to like, have a roommate because that would be nice to be able to like have a roommate. But then also I'm like, would I get lonely if I actually moved out on my own? Because like I've always lived with someone. Like I lived with my family until I was 18, moved away to college. I always had a roommate. I lived in a triple my freshman year, and then from sophomore to senior, I had a roommate each year, different one each year. But I always had a roommate. I always lived with someone, so I never lived alone. And I would love to live alone at some point, but I feel like financially, my first time moving out should be with someone because it will be financially cheaper. But then also eventually, I would love to at some point in my life, you know, I would love to like live on my own because I'm like, you know, I would hope I find a partner to marry. I don't know if I want to have kids. I'm not going to lie. Like, I feel like I'm not opposed to having a family. Like, let's say I met someone and, we got together and then we had a kid. I'm assuming we're having a kid after we get married. So that's why I didn't even mention the marriage. But I'm assuming that we have a kid. Like, like, one of us is going to have it. Like, I'm going to have a kid. Whatever. I wouldn't be like, I don't want to have a family. Like, I do want a family, but I just don't know if I want kids. I don't know. That's a different podcast episode to talk about, so we won't get into that. But I say all that to say, like, if I do, like, end up living with someone at some point, I would want, like, a partner. I would want to live on my own first before moving in with a partner. That's a whole thing. So, basically, I realized that so I want to live a life where I have joy and like I'm doing what I wanted to do when I was a kid. Like when I was 8, I wanted to do writing. Writing has always been something that like I knew that I would need to pursue because it's the one thing that brings me the most joy in this world. Like genuinely. It is a gift that God has blessed me with having the talent to write. And like I'm not the best writer. I'm not no well, I don't want to say I'm not because maybe I might become. Maybe I'm meant to be like a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer Prize winner. You know what I mean? Like, who's to say? I don't want to say I'm not, but like, I feel like I love storytelling so much. I love films. I love novels. I love talking about them. I love reading. I love talking about movies. I love watching movies. I love talking about books. I love reading. I love writing both. And I feel like I have such a love for it. I need to pursue that. And I felt like for a while that I couldn't pursue that because everything else that I'm doing was more important than what I've been wanting to do ever since I was like 8. I've been wanting to be a writer since I was a child, and I can't prioritize that one for my career because that's my career. I went to school for it. I want my career to be that. And I feel like it's hard for me to pursue that because I'm keep being told that everything else that I'm doing is more important than my writing. And whenever I try to advocate, I want to like set like I want to have a writing day, like one day a week where I just write. And then let's say it's on Mondays. Like Mondays I do my writing either during the day or after work or whatever. And then let's say before when I wasn't employed, I'd be like, okay, on Mondays I'm gonna do some writing. And then someone wants me to do something and I'm like, oh, I can't, I'm writing today. Oh, can't you just do that another day? And I'm just like, oh no, but today's my writing day. Like I want to set a date for my writing. Like, it won't be that long. It will take a few seconds. It's like, oh, it's not that big. It was like there's other things you have, like there's better things you have to prioritize before. And I'm just like, I'm getting the sense that like my writing is not that important to anyone but really me, because I'm the one that wants to pursue it. And it's not to say I don't have people that support my writing, that want me to be a writer. I do have support. Like, I'm very grateful that I never had the issue of like growing up and being wanting to be a writer, and then at some point people telling me you shouldn't be a writer, you should be more realistic, get a different like do a different career. Like when I went to college and I was trying to pick up my major, at first I wanted to double major in creative writing and finance, because I was great at math was one of my favorite subjects. Like academic subjects, math was my favorite because I was the best. Like I thrived at math. Like math was my best subject. I got like A's, like legit in high school. I got like a math award because I got the highest grades in math. Whatever. I loved math. Math made sense to me, and I loved math. But my favorite subject of all time at school actually was gym. But that's not like a period, whatever. But my favorite subject was gym, and then math. But like I loved math, so I loved math, and I liked money. So I was like, why not do finance? But then, in order to double major in creative writing and finance, I would have to be in school for 5 years. My advisor told me. I was like, oh, we're not doing that. So then I was like, never mind. I'll just major in creative writing and then minor in something else. And then I was questioned, oh, maybe you can major in finance and minor in creative writing. I was like, absolutely not. Creative writing is my major. I'm not minoring in that. That is what I want to do in my life anyway. The finance was just a bonus. But I want to do, that was me trying to be like, I want to be able to go the artistic way, but then also have a plan B. Finance was the plan B just in case if writing doesn't work. But I never got to like make writing my plan A. I had to basically do plan B before even trying plan A. And I remember at one point I was like, I was unemployed at the time. And I was like, maybe I should just take this chance to just full on just pursue writing. No more job hunting. I want to just try to just actually just crack down this writing and just fully pursue it. I don't need to look for a job. Again, people that get 9 to 5s, they do it to pay big bills. And granted, the only really big bill that I would have to pay would be my student loans at some point. But if I'm unemployed, you can defer them and you don't pay them. So like I really wasn't having big bills besides a credit card bill to pay, like, and subscriptions. Like I wasn't paying like a serious bill in order to warrant me needing a 9 to 5. It was more just to have it so I can make money and be able to like get my own source of income and become more independent. But it's just like I want to do that through my writing. And at one point I was like, okay, I'm gonna actually just do it. And then I was having a conversation about it, and then the conversation was just like, I don't think you should do that. I think you should just try to get a job and then do writing on the side. And I was like, oh. And I could have pushed. I could have been like, no, like I actually want to try writing. Like, I understand that, you know, I wanted to try, and then when I had the courage to be like, you know what, let me try. It was like, I don't think that's a good idea. And I could have just said, I understand that's your opinion, but at the end of the day, this is my life, and I should be able to determine what I do with it. And instead, I took that as that's my answer, and I'm gonna just listen. And I just went and got a job. And it like ate me up for like 6 months that like I doing something I told myself I never wanted to do. Um, so that was rough. That was rough to deal with for like a long time. And then like it took me 9 months, no, 8 months, because that's when we went on summer break. It took me 8 months. Like ironically, the same time I was about to quit my job was the same time I was coming to terms with the fact that I am a teacher, that I'm a teaching assistant at this school, and that this is my job. Um, and another reason why it bothered me, the whole passion thing, was because I remember even recently, like, this is something that I'm not gonna say that, oh, like I'm over it, doesn't bother me anymore. No, this is still like, this is something that like last year it bothered me so much because it hit the realization and I was in turmoil for months about it. Essentially the whole year, realistically, I've had this job. I've been in turmoil about like this, but then I tried to find ways to like the job. Like I think the first 8 months the first 6 months were really hard for me to come to terms with the fact that I'm living a life that I told myself I wouldn't live. And then 2 months after that, I was starting to accept it and be, you know what, this is the life that I have, but this isn't permanent. It's subject to change. I can, like, I'm not stuck here. Because I think that's another thing, is that I feel like a 9 to 5 means you're stuck. You're stuck at that job forever, and once you have it, you have to have it 25 years, and you get to retire, and you get to do the American dream thing of, like, having a 401k and a Roth and all this stuff. And it's like, I felt like once I had a 9 to 5 job, I was stuck and I couldn't go anywhere. And I think that's what was really getting at me, that I'm stuck here. I can't leave. I won't have time to do what I like because I don't have time to do anything. And I was really like, oh my God, I'm stuck here. I'm really stuck doing something that I don't love. Like, I like it, but I don't love it. And that was bothering me. And then I kind of realized, like, after that turmoil for 6 months, 2 months, I was like, it's okay. Like, this is my life for now. It's not permanent. Like, it took me 8 months to realize that this is not permanent. And then when we went on summer break for like 3 weeks, and then the new academic year started. And then, I'm starting to like my job. I'm seeing more pros and cons. It was a fresh start. After the whole debacle that happened, I was like, okay, clean slate. This is my year to determine whether or not I want to stay. Like, if this year goes bad, I'm going to just figure it out. I'll figure out what happens after that. I don't know if I'll quit. I don't know. I'll figure it out. So then this new year happens and things are different. Like, I elevate in my job a bit and things happen. And, I'm like, okay, this is not that bad. Maybe I can see myself staying here, but then I'm like, if I stay here, I don't want to be a TA forever. That's a whole other different thing. So, like, when I'm staying here, I'm having these other terminals about, like, how to elevate and how to do this, how to do that. So it's just like a never ending, like, topic of, like, oh, like, now that I'm here, am I going to be a TA forever? I don't want to be a TA forever. Oh, the next thing is to be a teacher. I don't want to be a teacher here. Like, I want to teach creative writing. How am I going to teach creative writing at the job that I work at? Because, like, we don't focus on academics. We focus on, like, the developmental skills, and that's a whole different topic. So, like, we don't do things academically. We do things developmentally. So it's like, how am I going to teach creative writing to people when I'm trying to teach them how to develop? Like, I was trying to figure that out, and I didn't really know how I could figure it out. I'm starting to find a way to figure it out, so that's a whole other thing. But, like, I'm like, okay, so if I'm going to be here, how am I going to make it enjoyable to where I can withstand being here until I get to leave at some point, whatever. Or it maybe I do end up staying here. How do I make it to where I can enjoy it? Like, I do like it, but when I'm having a bad day, it's really hard for me to stay, and I have to take like I only take like sometimes a day off, but realistically I need like a week to recharge off of like a few bad days. Like, it's a whole thing. So it's just like, how do I make it to where I'm not miserable, and I can make it to where, like, the bad days are bad, but I can recover quicker to where I can come and actually do my job. Because, like, when I actually think about the job, and like I actually think about, learning about autism and like helping these kids out, I do have a passion, a drive to want to help and to want to do my job better. But then I feel like, then I'm like, when I'm thinking that way, I'm fully submerging myself into my job. And then by doing that, I don't really have time to, like, do my writing or to focus on something else. Like, I feel like when I'm doing something, I do it, like, all the way in. And if I'm iffy, if I'm 50-50, I'm like, oh, like, what's the point? So, yeah. So, yeah. Um, what else am I talking about? So, yeah, this, like, and I feel like this is also just a thing, like, of people in their 20s, like, just navigating life and how hard it is, but also like being on like an artistic person, a creative person working on 9 to 5. It's hard because it's like you want to be able to like have a job to pay bills, but then also you really want to pursue your creativity as a career or even as like a side hustle. But then it's just like I've always wanted this to be a career. It's the one thing that I have so much passion for, because when people talk about teaching, like I remember like a few weeks ago there was like a conference that we did at my job, and I went to a presentation, and it was a presentation where three of the people, they went to get like bachelors and like theater, singing, and like dance. Like, they went to do art degrees, and they all became teachers. And the thing was, that's why I went, because I'm like, oh, they all went to get art degrees. I went to get an art degree too. I wonder what they had to say. So they talked about their presentation, and then at some point they all mentioned how they love their jobs, like the passion. I remember one of the presenters, she was saying that the passion she experienced, the passion and joy she experienced when she was on stage, being when she was performing, she has that same joy when she's teaching. And I'm just like, I don't have that working this job. And whenever people talk about how much like, oh, I have another friend where like when I was first like getting to know her, she mentioned how like she always wanted to be a teacher and that she didn't see herself doing anything else. And I'm like, this is not my aim. This is not I don't like have like I went to school for teaching. I wanted to be a teacher my entire life. Like when I was a kid I did want to be a teacher, but then when I started to think about writing, teaching was like out the door across the street 3 miles down. Like I wasn't thinking about teaching ever again until like when I was in grad school, only because I was copping out of trying to pursue writing full time. I was like, oh no, what if writing doesn't work out for me and then I'm broke? Or like, what if writing doesn't work out for me and then I had to figure out a new career? What's the best thing I could do? I guess I could teach. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'll be a teacher. And then I like gaslit myself into believing I wanted to be a teacher when in reality I didn't want to be a teacher. I just was saying that because I was scared. So that's a whole other thing. But yeah, so it's just like people are working my job because they went to school for it or they always had a passion for working in education and then working with kids and with neurodivergent kids. Like all of them talk about how much they have a passion, they have joy, they genuinely love their job. And then like every time when I hear them say that, I'm like, that's great that you love your job. I just wish I felt the same way. And it's not to say I don't like I love the the class that I have, I am so blessed to have because it was a new set of kids. So we didn't know their profiles, how they operate, like what their strengths are, what we want to work with them with. Like we had no idea who these kids were, and by the grace of God himself, I was placed in a class where the kids just meshed well. And like our class makes sense and I'm like, thank God. Because it could have went a whole different direction where all the kids were like clashing and they weren't working out and they didn't get along, and they get along pretty well. They mesh together, and like we do still have issues with the class in the sense of just like trying to figure out how to help the kids with their needs and how to support them while also supporting ourselves. And that's normal issues to have. But like I forgot what I was talking about. Like I literally had a thought that I was gonna say and it legit emptied my mind. And I'm wow, that was humbling. Um like I was going down I was oh my gosh, that really wow. That fully just upset me. Okay. Um I'm trying to like think about it, but it's not coming to me. I think I was going down a different tangent, and then I'm like, as I was going down the tangent of like how much I'm grateful of the class that I'm in, I was forgetting the point that I was trying to make of that like I love the kids I work with. That's what I was trying to say. I do love the kid. I love my class. I love my class. And that's the thing. I love things about my job, but I don't love my job. And that's what's been bothering me even now. Because I was like, I have things that I love about my job. I love the benefits that I have. Like the benefits that we have at the job, like we have a lot of breaks, a lot of paid breaks. Compared to other schools, you get breaks, but you don't get paid for them, or you don't have that many breaks at all. We get a lot of breaks. We have like last year we had like a 3 week summer vacation. I was like, and it was paid. And I was like, God bless. So like, the benefits are great. They're nice. And then the cons are cons that are very, challenging and interesting to talk about, but we won't talk about them today. But yeah, so like, I have things that like I found like, oh, look at the positive. I've been trying like ever since I got the shot, I've been looking, I've been like searching, reaching for positives to keep myself going of why I'm here. Like, why am I here? Why am I here? And I do love working with the kids. Also, I'm humbly saying this. I'm constantly being told by different people that I'm great with the kids. I'm great with the kids. I'm great with kids. And I do a great job. Obviously, I'm not perfect, so I have things that I need to work on. But like I'm great with the kids. I'm great with the kids. I'm great with my kids. I love my kids. And I love working with the kids I work with. There are times when it's challenging and then we figure out how to work through it. But it's just like, I do love working with, like, every time I see these kids, I'm like, good morning, so and so, good morning. Like, even if I'm having a really bad day, I see one of those kids and they're like, hi, Ananda. I'm like, hi, so and so. And it's like, I do get a little bit chipper. And then, like, something like maybe midday, if, like, depending on the mood that I'm in, I can, like, I can mask being playful and joyful. Or, like, I can see one kid and I'm like, oh, I need to see this kid right now because they're going to cheer me up. So, like, I do, like, whenever I see these kids, the passion does come up. But then the minute the clock hits 3:30 or 4:30, that passion depletes and I'm questioning my career choice. So it's like it comes and goes, but it's just like with writing, I never felt it come and go. The only times when I felt it never left. It more of just like I was scared that like of like I was just it's more fear of like not being successful. But that's not the same as like not having a passion for it. So I'm just like I never like not had a love for writing. And I feel like I don't love my job. I like my job and like I feel like I'm just trying to figure out ways how to like if I'm going to be here for a while, how am I going to make it to where it's good for me and for the kids. So, I've been dealing with that for like a year. And then this year I was like, okay, last year was really hard navigating, like, working this job and doing everything I'm doing. I've also come to the conclusion that I have too much on my plate. I need to let things go. And I've been telling my friends for like a while that like I'm so stressed out. I have so much to do, this, that, and the third. And then I'm constantly talking about how stressed out I am and how I can't get nothing done, this, that, and the third. And it's just like also that's when my like the ADHD pops in where it's like I have so much to do and I have all these things on my plate and I can't do anything and I get into paralysis or like I'm trying to get it done, I'm not doing it fast enough or whatever. And I get negative feedback about myself like a lot. I get a lot of negative feedback about myself. Despite some people tell me how great I am, and then some people tell me you're great, but you do this, and this, and it's annoying to deal with all the time. So get it together. And I'm just like, okay, all right. Where's the bridge? Where's the bridge? Where is the bridge? Anyway, so my battery's on 2 bars. So that's the time to wrap it up. I also have 8 minutes on my timer, and I don't want this to be more than like 90 minutes. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I say all this to say, this is what I've been dealing with. This is the turmoil. This is the issue that I had. It was severe last year, and this year I'm like, how do I avoid having this happen another year? How do I change that aspect of my life? And there was one thing that like I said, I had to let things go. There is one thing I did let go that I'm finishing up in a few months. I will officially be letting it go. But I think the thing is that this year my goal for the year was to make my career a priority. And how am I going to do that? By not caring what people say when I make it a priority. If people don't like that I'm making it a priority, that is their business, not mine. And it's going to be hard to do that. It's easier said than done because sometimes the people that are like, not that they don't care about my career, but more of like they feel like I should do something else first and then basically I should focus on my career when I have free time rather than making it a priority to do on a daily basis or a weekly basis. There's better things to do. There's more important things to do than my career when I fully disagree. My career is my priority. I need to make that my priority. And this year, I've been struggling with trying to figure out how to do that on top of like bettering myself and, everything. So it's just like making my career, making my writing a priority in the sense of I need to figure out if I gotta let things like I want to be able to like work because like at the end of the day, I do want to move out at some point. And in order to move out, I need to make an income, a good source of income, and I don't want to move out with the income I have right now, mostly because I want to be able to move out comfortably. I need to make more money, basically. The amount of money that I make right now is actually like it's okay, but it's like I can make more. Because first of all, I have a master's degree, so I should be making more than the money I'm making. One. Two, I want to make sure that when I move out, that I don't have to move back in because I ran out of money. I want to make sure that when I move out, I can fully end the chapter living with my family and start a new chapter of like um doing like start a new chapter of like being an adult. Like I'm an adult now and like, being an adult and adulting is another topic because, I'm doing the best I can when it comes to being an adult and like I'm not the best at it because at the same time I'm only 25. I've been an adult for 7 years. So essentially I'm 7 years old and people to not understand that and give me the grace and mercy to understand that I'm still learning how to be an adult, that's on them. Like, I'm doing the best I can and I just have to learn that like, not everyone can understand that and not everyone will know that like I'm doing the best I can despite like I may not look like I'm doing the best I can, but I'm doing the best I can literally every single day. Whatever. My battery's about to die. So I'm going to end this by basically this was just a rant. This like the whole purpose was just to get it off my chest that like I've been dealing with this for the past like almost a year and some change. Ever since I got this job and just like life as a 20-year-old is 20 year old 20 something like being in your 20s is hard. Just growing pains of just getting a job and then realizing you don't really like the job, like, like careers and like what I've been wanting to do with my life and how I haven't been really pursuing writing. Like I've been out of school officially for 2 years, and I'm like, I have a movie that like I was working on the second draft of, a novel that I'm like almost 40% done, and I haven't worked on either of them in like over a year because I've been so busy doing everything else but my writing. And that sucks. And I want to change that. And this year I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it this year. Um, so yeah, this was just me to just this was mostly for me. Start off my podcast, brand new, nice and fresh, but also to just rant about, to chat about my career and how I've been wanting to change, make a change, and just just me chatting. That's it. I want to try to finish it before the battery just like cuts off. So I will stop this here. I hope you guys enjoyed this hour long. This is like a 90-minute rant I think at this point. If you stayed this entire time, I love I this is yeah, we'll do that. Love you. Thank you for staying. Leave a comment down below if you've ever like, your growing pains of being in your 20s or whatever issues you're dealing with, whether it's like career choices, whether it's like your job. Oh, I'm going to have to like, oh, my battery's dying. Okay. My social medias will be in the description box below. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you feel the same or whatever comments you want to make. I'm going to go. My battery's dying. Bye. Okay, hi. So I said that was the end of it, but I just felt like the ending was a bit rushed. I wanted to end it on this note that like I know you're probably watching like after like hear me rant about like all that. Here's the thing. What I'm doing this year is, like I said, I'm gonna focus on my career, making it a priority, but also like I kind of wanted to end it being like, if you are going through this, like, you're not, first of all, if you're going through the same thing, you're not alone. We all have our own issues going on in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, how old you are. Everyone has their own issues going on. And if you feel something similar to this or just in general, you're not alone in whatever issues you're going through. There are other people going through the same thing or something similar. So, like, realizing that like you're living a life you don't want to live and how like going down that path will just leave you to misery is something that's like, it's a good thing to know this because you're aware that like you're not happy but you want to be happy and you have a drive to get to be happy. Like I want to live a life where I'm doing things I love. Like I like what I'm doing, but I want to love what I'm doing, and I know how I'm trying to figure out how to get there, but I still have the drive to want to get there. And at some point, I will get there. Like, I also want to end on a positive note where it's just like, I'm like, oh, like I'm living this life that I never wanted to live, but it's just like, it's like I said, it's not permanent. Like this job that I have, I don't need to have it forever. Like I don't have to stay here forever. I don't have to like if I really wanted to like leave, I could just finish the academic year and not go back and then pursue writing and go on. Or I could just find a way how to make it to where I can work this job and then be able to do writing after if I prioritize it with my time scheduling because like I said, I have to let things go so I can have time to do my writing because I want to have it to where I like go to work, I work my job, and I after like 3:30 or 4:30 I can like go to the bookstore and do some writing, or I can go to the park and do some writing, or I can like pick up a hobby. I've been wanting to learn how to play guitar for like the past like several months, and I want to get an electric guitar, but I want to try to play my acoustic guitar first before getting an electric guitar so I could justify buying an electric guitar. So I want to know how to play guitar. Like I want to be able to like work my job and then be able to like when I clock out, do something fun that like gives me joy, that gives me not purpose, like gives me joy and reminds me that like my job is not my life, and that like I had a hard day at work, but then I can like get clock out and do something fun that will like actually help me recover to go back the next day. And until I don't need to work there anymore because my career in writing kicked off and I can do that full time, where I do like that full time. And also, I also want to just do YouTube because every time when I go months without doing YouTube, like, I'm prioritizing other things, I always miss it. I'm like, man, I miss making videos. And that's why whenever I do my podcast and I don't do it for several months, I go back to it because I'm like, I miss it. I want to do it. And I do when I like my YouTube, I like my podcast, I want to do them. I just don't have time because I'm having to prioritize everything else, but I keep going back to it. I keep longing and yearning for it because I miss it and I like doing it and I want to find a way how to have time to do, like, I love making my YouTube videos. I like making my podcast. Like, I like being able to like do these things. I love being able to express myself, and I want to make time for expressing myself while also having a 9 to 5 job until I don't need this job anymore. Like the whole purpose of having a job is to make income, but then to pay bills, but then also to do things that you should be able to want to do, like socialize or like buy things you enjoy, to do hobbies or creativity, whatever the case may be. Like I want to live a life where I am happy and at peace and I have ultimate joy. I feel like my parents have worked hard for me to be able to have the privilege to do that. Like I shouldn't have to struggle as much as they did. The whole purpose of why they worked hard so that way I can have a better life, and I want to live a life where I'm happy, where I'm doing what I love or doing something that I like and then being able to do what I love after. I want to be happy. And I feel like me prioritizing writing is the first step to getting there. Even if I'm not gonna put it into existence. I'm gonna be successful in my career, so that's fine. But I wanna make that something. And I feel like it's easy to just like cave in and then just figure out how to make my 9 to 5 work, and I just stay my 9 to 5 for the rest of my life until I decide to retire. And I don't want to do that because I feel like I will always yearn for writing if I never try to pursue it. Like I have all these ideas. I always come up with ideas. I'm never ending ideas about what stories to create, how to what stories to create, what stories to create, what stories to create, like literally what stories to create, how to flush them out, what ideas I can do. Like I'm always thinking of new ideas, and it's just like it will be a waste if I don't pursue writing. Um, and I want to pursue writing. And I need to pursue writing because I've always wanted to do that, and I should just do it. So I don't know if that helped make the ending make more sense. Like I had a point and then I just kept rambling. I hope that made sense. But yeah, I'm gonna go now because I gotta turn over the chicken again and put barbecue sauce on it and then like cook it for another 30 minutes. But yeah, I'm gonna go for it this time now. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this like long video. I talk a lot, and I'm embracing it. Um, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this episode, whatever this is. And my social medias will be in the description box down below or on the screen as well. You can follow me, whatever is on the screen. Because I don't know what the podcast Instagram is going to be. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have the title be working title, or I can put, I think working title is subject to change. It sounds like a good ring. It has a good tone to it, but you'll see what I have it as when it gets uploaded because I'm so indecisive. It's actually crazy. I change mine a lot. So yeah. And also at the right when I finished recording, like I closed it off of my camera. I was like, I actually like this. Like at first I was like, oh, this pom pom is ridiculous because it covers my mouth. But like at the end I'm like, I actually really like this. I think I'm gonna use this from now on because I have like, and literally when I was like, oh, my dissertation series on my YouTube channel, like I can use this for that. Like so like I miss being creative. I miss creativity, and I need to find a way how to balance that in my life. How to make it a priority in my life. Like I need to be creative because when I'm not creative, I'm sad. Like I'm just living life. Like I need to find a way to live life and not just exist. I feel like I'm not living my life to the fullest potential I can because I keep making other things a priority, and I want to live life and enjoy it. Right now I'm just surviving and existing, and I want to like live my life. Like I have like it's like I'm existing and I'm attempting to live, but then I keep getting pushed back to not because of other people's opinions or because of like I have to genuinely do things and then I can't do what I have a passion for. And this year I want to make that be different. I want to be able to live my life and enjoy it. And I have the privilege to do that. So I want to take advantage of my privilege and have it actually benefit me to live my life and be happy and have joy. So that's, and it all boils down to my career because my career is my writing, and I have so much joy and passion for my writing, which is why I need to pursue it. So, and I'm pretty sure other artists feel the same way with whatever passion they have in art. Like, I feel a lot of creative people when it comes to art, like, art is like, it brings us so much joy that like never being able to pursue it again is just such a miserable thought. I can't even imagine a world where I never tried to pursue writing or where I never did writing again. That's actually very sad, you know. And I could find joy in other things, but it's just like it's so miserable just thinking about never being able to write again. Like, you know, like you can think about it, but it's like I'm never gonna write again. That's I can't do it. I simply cannot do that. So yeah. So I'm gonna go because I have to turn this chicken over, and I need to stop talking because this will be like at this point like 3 hours long, and I don't want it to be that long. So thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you guys. And this is gonna be a podcast episode, so I'll see you guys in the next episode, and hopefully my next episode I will have it more organized because I just think I need to just I'm trying to be more organized in my content, but at the same time, I am so chaotic that I feel like I need to just embrace it. I need to embrace it in a balance. Like, I need to embrace it, but also, like, you know, because when I try to edit these, I'm like, girl, there is no organization to this. But, you know, that's just me. So, whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna go. See you guys in the next episode. Bye.